everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Beta Battle at Man United. Myself versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who can get the most out of Man United in the 2019-2020 season. We're reaching the end of this particular series, a one-season series. So if we go and have a look at the fixtures, the last time you and I were together for an episode was the PSG second leg game where we went through in the Euro Cup. You can see that we've got the double header against Lazio coming up in the semi-final. And today we've got a game against Tottenham in the Premier League. You can also see at the end of the season that we reached the FA Cup final and we play Leicester City, a double header against them in the Premier League to finish that competition, but then a couple of days later for the FA Cup final. So if we go and have a look at our competitions, you can see that we don't talk about the Carabao Cup. It didn't work out particularly well for us. We got knocked out early on. We got the final of the FA Cup though, the Euro Cup, we're in the semi-finals against Lazio, and in the Premier League we currently sit in 4th place, and we've got a 3-point gap between us and Arsenal, and then a 5-point gap to both Man City and Liverpool. So in the next couple of games, if things go well for us, we could jump up a place maybe, but we'd have to play quite well to do it. If we go and have a look at the schedule back and see where we've been since the PSG game, you can see that we played twice since then when we got through, obviously, in the FA Cup final against Norwich, but it was after extra time. It wasn't a particularly amazing game, but we did eventually scrape through. And then we had a very good, comfortable win against Newcastle, which leads us into the Tottenham game. We've still got Southampton, Palace and Leicester to play after the Tottenham game in the league. I think there's a couple of very winnable games in there to keep a run going. I think the last couple of months of form have been pretty good, really. We had that sort of section in and around December time where it wasn't quite as win heavy as I'd have liked, but you know, we've picked up since then, which has been really positive. So today against Tottenham, got a couple more Premier League matches to go. I won't be playing the Lazio semi-final on an episode. What we'll be doing is playing the Tottenham game today, and then for tomorrow's episode, episode 12, we'll come back and we'll play however many finals we've got to play. So it'll either be a one-off game against Leicester in the FA Cup final to finish the series, and I'll update you on what happened in the league, or we'll play a double header if we manage to get past Lazio and get into the Euro Cup final as well. So we'll have to see how that works out for tomorrow's episode. But for today it's Tottenham. So if we go and have a look at our team sheet for today, you can see that everybody's been rotated and everybody's had game time recently, so everybody's pretty fit and healthy, which is really positive. So it's pretty much our first 11 that have got the opportunity to play against Spurs today. So it's David De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Luke Shaw at left back, Lindelof and Maguire in central defence, Pereira, McTominay and Pogba in central midfield, Lingard on the right, Rashford on the left and Dembele up top, with Bailly, Dalot, Chowdhury, Cook, Bowen, James and Martial on the bench. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So we've gone with the pick up where you left off in terms of our team talk from the last game against Newcastle and the previous match against Norwich. And obviously before that we won against PSG as well. So that's the reason for that particular team talk. Got a couple of motivated players. Let's go into kickoff. So we're at home against Spurs, which is going to be helpful to us. See a sellout at Old Trafford, which is always great. Our attendances have been very good this season, as you would expect. You can see that Tottenham are playing 3 at the back with 2 up top, so a different formation again to some that we're used to in the Premier League. And Walker Peters goes down the right hand side for Tottenham. Can they get a cross in, or are we going to get a foot in and nick the ball from them? There's Shaw trying to get the foot in, almost manages, but Eriksen reclaims the loose ball and moves it into Dyer, back out to Eriksen down the right hand side. They're keeping the ball very nicely, but we're keeping our shape and putting the pressure on them to keep moving that ball. And there's a longer ball and we intercept it. Brilliant play by us defensively. Lindelof with the interception. Lingard through to Rashford on the left hand side, but the shot goes straight at the goalkeeper and he pokes it round the corner of the post for a corner kick. Corner comes in to the near post, but it's partially cleared. Maguire picks up the loose ball, back out to Pereira, gets another opportunity for a cross. Doesn't quite make it. Lo Celso with a foot in the penalty box, and then cleared for a throw-in for us down the left-hand side. And Luke Shaw to Dembele, back to Luke Shaw, gets the cross in, and it's Lingard on the header, and it's just narrowly wide. Good opportunity though, good movement down the left-hand side, good cross in, and Lingard coming in off that right-hand side, and he just puts it narrowly past the post. Here we go with a throw-in for Tottenham down their right-hand side, but a good interception by Pogba sets Rashford off down this left-hand side, and he runs almost the length of the pitch from one box to the other, cuts it wide right to Lingard, into McTominay, out to Wan-Bissaka, down the right-hand side of the penalty box. Cross comes in, and the goalkeeper gets a hand on it. I think it was more of a shot than a cross, and that's the Football Manager 20 match engine, isn't it? Lots of shots from weird, very tight angles down the sides of the penalty box that maybe they need to realign slightly for the official release. Another highlight comes and goes there, and we're still at 0-0 after half an hour. Pereira with the free kick, and there's a goal for Pogba. That caught me by surprise, if I'm honest. We'll have to look at that again. So we get the free kick on the right hand side from Pereira. The cross comes in to the far post, and Pogba gets it above everybody else and heads it back against the goalkeeper in the way that it's just come, and manages to get it into that far corner. And that was a lovely bit of play, wasn't it? So we'll skip the rest of that. There seemed to be a bit of a jutter there. Yeah, we find ourselves 1-0 up just after that half-hour mark. You can see in terms of the game stats, we're having so many more shots than they, about 15 to their 1, I think it was. Wan-Bissaka down the right-hand side again, gets into the area, but the challenge comes in, and again we find ourselves with a corner kick down our right-hand side, or do we? Did it go for a goal kick in the end? It looked like it went for a goal kick in the end. I thought that was a corner, but... again with the free kick from Pereira, our set-piece specialist, who does very well from them. In that instance, Lindelof got a head on it, but couldn't quite put the ball towards the target, and it goes harmlessly wide. So I think we're doing pretty well. I think in terms of match stats, we're dominating the game in all sorts of ways. So I think we can be quite positive about it. We should challenge the team and go out and prove a point. I'm going to not do that necessarily passionately. I'm going to say I'm happy with the way that we're playing. Keep it up. I think that was a worthwhile team talk. Look at this. I mean, possession's equal, but 18 shots compared to their 1. What more can you ask for, really? Again, down the right-hand side, Dembele cuts the ball across, but of course he was out there, so he wasn't able to get on the end of it. And Pereira with the long shot, a bit of a sloppy handling from the goalkeeper, but eventually manages to get the ball out. Corner comes in, and it's McTominay in the box. A very good point blank save by Lloris, wasn't it, on that occasion? Got a very good hand to it, and again it goes wide for a corner kick. Pereira again with the corner kick, goes to the far post, too far for everybody else, but Maguire picks up the loose ball on the edge of the box, comes inside the box, and Pogba receives the pass from Maguire, and now they're playing keep ball with McTominay also involved. And then the highlight dies a little bit, and a bit disappointing, really didn't lead to much. 55 minutes gone, and we're still 1 up. Here come Tottenham down the right-hand side with Dele Alli. But again, we get a good block and a good clearance in. McTominay was key to that. And Dembele picks up the loose ball. Can he find a decent shot? A good shot again, but a very good handling by Lloris. But again, it went out for a corner that obviously wasn't good enough for a highlight. But we're continually putting the pressure on them. So we're at 69 minutes now. So we're going to pause the game there and see how we're all doing in terms of our match sharpness, etc. You can see that Wan-Bissaka's picked up a yellow card. He's playing very well, but also is slightly lower in conditioning. So I will remove him and just take away some of those issues from the side moving into the last few minutes. Pogba's playing very well, but again is lower in his conditioning, but I think we'll probably take a gamble and leave him on. We've got people like Rashford who's only on a 6.7, so we'll take him off, and Dembele up top will bring Martial on for. Those two weren't having a particularly good game, were they, really? So that'll do it for our substitutions for the last 20 minutes or so of the game. Tottenham again down the left hand side, work it from their defensive area into midfield, back to the goalkeeper, go centrally to Dyer and to Eriksen and Lo Celso. There's a sweeping ball wide right to Walker-Peters. Can we get a foot in here? We can't, and it goes right the way through to Rose, who was one of those that started off the move down the left-hand side in the first place and eventually gets himself on the end of it. And they gained a corner kick, which came to nothing. And I hope that we can kind of see this out now. We've been so dominant in terms of the match stats that it would be quite galling to get to the point where Tottenham could get a late equaliser. Pereira with the free kick comes in, but Tottenham clear it, and Davies comes away with the ball on the fast counter. But Lindelof, great foot in there. Can we maintain possession and seek out another opportunity for ourselves? Good hold-up play by Lindelof, and Shaw takes over down the left-hand side, gets a good cross in deep, finds it to Lingard, and there's Martial. If he wasn't offside, that was a good goal. Lingard received the cross from Luke Shaw, long cross, and then finds a way to get it through to Martial, and Martial, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, doesn't make any errors and puts it in the back of the net. Here's the really long, decent cross. Lingard, he gets a decent header over the top of the defence. Very good play by Lingard there to set up the goal, and Martial makes no mistakes, and we go 2-0 up, and I think we can relax now at the end of this match. I think we're looking good for another 3-point victory over a decent side who are in and around us in the Premier League, so very encouraging. But Davies with one last attempt for Tottenham, but it was a bit tame, wasn't it, really? And De Gea plucks it out of the air, and that should do it, I would imagine. Here we go for the final whistle, and there we go. And I think that was a really good display, wasn't it? We can be encouraged by that and tell the team that, I think, in our team talk in a second. Couple of yellow cards in the game, but look at those match stats. We dominated the shots, the opportunities. They only had 3 shots for the entire game. And the possession stats were equal, but ultimately the only stat that really matters is that we won the game 2-0. So we're going to go in, passionately tell them that we're happy with that, very happy with that. Build up the confidence and make them all happy, which is positive. It tells us about Tottenham's hopes are over of winning the Premier League. Okay, great, fine, good for them, but don't really care, to be honest. That's not my concern, it's their concern. You can see that they're sitting now, what's that, 9 points behind us with 3 games left, so that puts them well out of the title contention. We'll have to just check in with these guys, Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, when they play in the next 24 hours or so, just to see where that leaves us in terms of the Premier League and the last couple of games. But you can see currently we're even on points, so if we move ahead, I'll come back when they've played their games and just show you where the Premier League is at. So everybody's played their 35th game in and around the top of the table. You can see Arsenal got a very comfortable win against Brighton in the end, and it's pretty much as it was before this 35th round of games happened, in the sense of we are 3 points behind Arsenal, and a couple of points ahead of them are both Man City and Liverpool. So we've still got a few things to play for, but I'm not quite sure we're going to be able to get into the top 2. Maybe above Arsenal is as good as we can get, so I'll have to see how the last few games of the season go. But that will pretty much do it for this episode. As I say, we're going to come back at the very end of the season now. One more episode to go of this particular series, and we'll either play 1 or 2 finals. Either the FA Cup final will be the final game for us, or we'll put the Euro Cup final in there as well as a double header, depending on how we get on with Lazio. And when I come back for that particular episode tomorrow, I'll also update you on exactly how the Premier League season finished, and we will then be able to clearly tell Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer what we achieved in terms of our version of 2019-20, and set them the targets and see later in the season in real terms how they get on. I think the league position we've done much better than they have so far as we sit here in mid-November of 2019 in real terms. Man United are in about 7th, I think, in the Premier League and struggling a little bit here and there. So we'll have to see how they get on in their other competitions as the season goes on for them. But I'll come back in May and do an update video and just check in as to where we compared to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in real terms. But yeah, that'll do it for today. I hope you're enjoying the series. If you are, then why not subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with the videos. If you enjoyed this particular episode, why not click a like on it for me? That helps me get seen by other people and helps me grow my channel, which is really important to me. If you're playing Football Manager yourself, I hope you're having a great time doing it, then let me know how you're getting on in the comments below. Always interested to hear your stories. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I will see you soon, and bye for now.